afternoon, YouTube. I think it's the afternoon. Yep, it is now. All right, cool. Revolution Armoury. This is a WP12 12 gauge shotgun, pump action, 3-inch chambered. Can run 2 3/4, no problem, not a biggie. I saw only one video in existence anywhere on YouTube, and it's a pretty good gun. Guy did rather well with it, they do have a few different versions of everything, of course, like any other gun manufacturer does. But he had 2 boxes of Challenger ammo, a red box and a blue box, and I think it was the blue box, if I remember right. It had, like, it would jam up every so many shots, and it'd be like, you know, and you gotta kind of get that thing to get opened up because it wouldn't eject the round. So it happens, right? So you find friendlier ammo. He found it funny because, well, one's red, one's blue. They look the same, but apparently not so much. But anyway, I guess we'll find out how well it works for me. I've got some Challenger ammo myself, newer style box than what he was shooting, because that video was from a few years back, so I don't know, maybe they fixed their problems or whatever, I don't know. But I've also got other selections of shotgun shells too to choose from. However, needed this for going grouse hunting, and if I ever do decide to attempt duck or geese to eat that stuff, well, then I might go out with the guys hunting that one day. Otherwise, definitely for sure grouse. We have a trip coming up in September, and I wanted a pump action because, well, it holds 2+1 when you're out hunting, or 4 and 1 when you're at the range. So, you know, you just pull the plug out. But there is no plug in this. Right now it's a 4 and 1 setup, so I'm going to have to make my own plug. Not a big deal. Made one for my buddy's shotgun. Now I got to make one for my own. So, but anyway, it seems to be like physical fit and finish is beautiful on this thing. I mean, I've checked out a few shotguns, not many, you know, and I do have an old, and I do mean freaking old, single shot break action, but it's only a single shot. So if you do need a follow-up shot for some reason, yeah, good luck. The bird's gone, right? So I figured, well, I like pump action anyway. I'm not a semi-auto person, and I'm also a left-handed shooter, and it's hard to find guns with the ejection port on the left-hand side. So, but for a pump action, at least I'm not going to get banged in the face, right? Because any pump action I've ever shot, never had a problem there. Semi-auto, on the other hand, that's a whole different beast. That's why even my 22 semi-auto is a left-handed ejection port breech on that one. So anyhow, let's get on with this. The trigger pull is not very heavy. It's not light, but it's not heavy. It's kind of just really nice, okay? And I like that there's not a lot of travel in it, so that's good too. Of course, cross block safety, no biggie. We've got our button here if we do need it, so when we initially load in around, okay, well, now we can do this if we needed to, because it ain't gonna move until you fire the gun, right? So, and then you can go to the next one. But if you do need this for any reason, you know, so you can do that. Anyways, center fire, at least you can dry fire these things and not hurt them. Loader, of course, on the bottom. I don't know what to really tell you. Well, there is a dovetailed receiver on this, so 3/8 or 11 mil. So feel free to mount a laser or a red dot or even a scope if you're into that sort of thing. Now, I don't know much about shotguns, but I'm going to be talking to my buddy today, so because he'll know, and I trust what he says 100% on this one, but I'm not sure if I can shoot slugs through this, because it comes with an improved cylinder choke, a modified choke, and a full choke from the factory. Now, I bought this as a used gun from my guy up the road here from me, and I only paid $275, and it had an improved cylinder choke in it, which is one up from the modified. So we have 3 supported, that's it. So, and even though there's no markings, I have my micrometers and I measured it, and yeah, it's definitely the improved cylinder that was in here. I don't know if I can shoot slugs through that or not, but I do know that I was told, because I asked, can I shoot slugs if I just take the choke out completely? The answer to that is not unless you want to blow all the threads out. So I'm like, no, I don't. So there you go. Anyway, so we're going to have to find out a little bit more information on what I can get away with this, because it only does support 3 only chokes. Even though I do have a chart up here where we've got cylinder, improved cylinder, modified, and full as far as 4, and it tells us, you know, what kind of pattern spread to expect at X amount of yards, and, you know, I'm shooting grouse at 25 yards, we'll say, or maybe less, right? So with the improved cylinder, that's not bad. That's, you know, at 10 yards, you're at 15 inch. At 25 yards, you're at 32. But with the modified, you're 26 inches at 25 yards. And then it goes down from there incrementally. Full choke does seem to be the most ideal pattern. But they didn't have any full chokes in stock, or I would have gone with a full choke either as well or right away. But I don't know. I've never friggin' bird hunted with a shotgun, so that should tell you a little bit about, I'm no expert in firearms. So I've been shooting pellet guns and BB guns my entire life, modifying them, custom builds. I know and understand all that stuff way too easy. Firearms, kind of a little newish to that green guild. And but the 22s I'm pretty good with. But shotguns, a little bit different. But we'll get there. Don't worry. And I got studying I want to do either way in the meantime. But fit and finish, like I said, is really good on this. Even though it was only one video and the guy was just, you know, doing some pattern testing with whatever choke he had in the thing, that's not a big deal. Got to see, you know, hey, it'll run 2 3/4, it'll run 3 inch. That's all I cared about, because everything I have right now is all 2 3/4, so no biggie. And I do know at least that if you have a 3 inch bore, you can run 3 inch and smaller to a certain point. Depends on the gun, right? This probably 2 3/4 is probably going to be maybe our best. Maybe, I don't know, 2.5. I don't know. I got to check out all the lengths that are available. But I know for the little miniature things, they ain't going to work on this thing. They won't cycle. So, but it is what it is, right? The gun does not look banged around by any means. There's not even a mark on it. It has been fired. I know that because I did have to clean it, and it came out a little bit dirty. So I figured, all right, let's clean and lube what we can get at. And we did that, so it's all ready to go for that part. Like I said, now I just got to make the plug, and you just unscrew the cap here, and it's already at the top, so there is no plug. So manufacturing one out of a piece of wooden dowel is really cheap. Why buy what you can make for next to nothing, right? So, and besides, I made one for my buddy's shotgun, and it's still working fine, so it's not an issue, right? Love the walnut wood, and it is actually walnut wood. It's not like hardwood stained. I don't like synthetic stuff, okay? I'm not really keen on it, though I do have a couple rifles, but they're 22, so I don't really care. But I do have a 22 with a wood stock, so... But this is walnut, and I love walnut wood, and it adds to the weight, and it's a pretty weighty gun as it is. So it's also really nice too. And you just got the little brass bead. That's all you really need anyway. But I mean, if you wanted optics, it's already grooved already, so you can put your optics on. And I know some people like putting on scopes or red dots when they're shooting slugs or maybe even buckshot, I guess. Everybody's different, you know what I mean? And parts access is not a major deal apparently for this gun. You can get parts. That's fine, you know, if you do need something. I don't know how much I'm going to use the gun right now. Hey, like I said, this is a little bit on the new side for me anyways. You know, I could have had my PAL years ago. I really could have, but I wasn't hunting. I didn't find a use of getting a PAL, getting a bunch of guns that the only place I can shoot them is at a gun range. And I'm going to tell you, it gets awful boring after a while. You need to shoot somewhere else and shoot at different things that, you know, you can, you know, line up a bunch of cans or, you know, whatever and plink those, because you can't set up cans at your local gun club unless they let you, but, you know, but then you also got to join a club. Now, I did join a club because you really should, but in my case, I joined the club because I can't shoot them here at home. Even though I live in the country, you know, I can't shoot them at the house. It's not safe because of the area we live in. And, you know, the landlord said, pellet guns are one thing. Bows, fine. Guns, nuh-uh. And I said, okay, no problem. So I respect that. And I know better anyways, right? Because I know how my surroundings are, and yeah, no. But I did join a club, just waiting for my membership to show up. Then I can get this thing patterned up, see how I do with it too, get my other guns sighted in and ready to go, and we go from there. But I am into hunting now, and that's what got me into getting my PAL. I got really frustrated trying to, you know, hunt down grouse with a bow and arrow last year. I got 1 in 10, and it's like, that's not very good odds, you know. And I didn't get a deer last year because I only had a buck only tag. I'm hoping I get the, I win the doe tag this year, and because then I could get a doe within like probably the first opening day. We get a lot of doe up here, and I can bow hunt in the yard, so you know that's not a big deal. But I do like the gun. I was looking at a Mossy, what do you call it, Mossenberg Maverick 88. I looked at a Hatson one, but they had already sold it when I got to the store. It was a used one for like 25 bucks more, but it came with choke tool, all the chokes, other accessories. Like, no wonder that got scooped up fast. But this one was only $275. They had lowered the price to $275, 40 bucks for the modified choke, no big deal. And out the door we go for a really good price. So, you know, hopefully I get a lot of years of use out of this thing. You know, and we'll definitely have more videos for you guys as time progresses, and we can get it to the range too to pattern the darn thing. And we'll try out some different loads and whatnot, because I got some buckshot in here too and a few other things. But yeah, I really think that the gun right now, without even firing it yet, it seems pretty good. Everything's running smooth in it and everything, so I don't expect any real problems. But hey, gun's a gun. It doesn't matter what company makes it or how much you pay. They all eventually develop issues, that's for sure. But and I love the vented barrel on this too, because that helps give it some extra strength too, and you know, cooling when it's getting hot, so helps to cool the barrel faster. I do know a little bit of things, you know what I mean? But yeah, for the money, I mean, like I said, you still buy this brand new. Canadian price anywhere from $440, $495, which would actually come with everything, right on up to just under 600 bucks, depending on where you go. But used for $275, I'm happy with this. I think it should do me fine. We're gonna find out anyway, so you know, stay tuned for more on this thing, and at least we'll now have some actual video coverage other than one video of a guy shooting it. But at least I did check out reviews, online reviews and stuff, and people are loving this gun. Very reliable, not too much trouble with it, you know, so that's good. Oh, excuse me. On that note, and sneezing my brains out, it's summertime, I'm going to let you guys go for now. I do have to get to another video for you guys too today, so stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about some stuff about 22 caliber long rifle, and we'll get to that. In the meantime, I got to trigger lock this and throw it back in my safe after I go make my plug for it first. So we'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.